Good morning, YouTube. Oh my god. Oh my god. So I know that Twice was coming out with a new single, a new song. It's called More and More. That's also the name of their 9th mini album. And I haven't been paying that much attention to it, but I just assumed it was going to be like 1 or 2 months away. But I was just browsing their YouTube channel and shit, it's gonna come out in 15 hours. It is 11 a.m. now, assuming that's 6 p.m. June the 1st in Seoul, South Korea time. That means in 15 hours, the music video will be out. I've been wanting to do a music video reaction to Twice for a long time. I might actually go back and do, not a reaction because I've watched their music videos so many times, but you can still do a reaction, but it's not the first time you're watching it, right? I was gonna go do it for like all of their music videos for all of their singles, but when this music video comes out, I'm gonna film a live first time reaction. When I did the Lady Gaga album review a couple of days ago, I had said that usually when I listen to almost any song for the first time, or even like the first 5 or 10 times, I usually don't get super into it. It's really rare that I listen to a song the first time and I get into it. Probably the song, the last time where that happened was Cheating on You by Charlie Puth. That was probably the last song in recent memory where the first time I heard it, I was like, wow, I love that song. Not even the Twice songs I really had that happen ever. A lot of the songs I really like now, but maybe after having heard it for like the 10th or the 15th time. Sorry, this will mean nothing to you if you are not into K-pop or you're not into Twice. I'm not really that into K-pop. I'm only really into Twice. So I'm really glad that they have a brand new song with a brand new album and a brand new music video. I just watched the teaser for it. The first thing I thought was, I need to learn some of these dance moves. It's been about 5 hours since I got back from the run. I've just been having a lazy afternoon. I should probably do laundry, but I'll do it later in the week. The rioting and the looting is real. I took a couple of photos of a couple of stores just on my run. I went west this time, so I just went down Market West. East of me is where the shopping district is, like Union Square, like all the hotels and all the shops and everything. Apparently a lot of damage happened over there to a lot of storefronts, retailers. And now we have a mandatory curfew. Mandatory. And now we have a mandatory curfew starting at 8 o'clock. I even got a little emergency alert on my phone for that. LA and some other cities had it last night, but we probably should have done it for last night, but we didn't. So we're doing it for tonight. An hour ago or so, I'm really close to City Hall. I actually heard the protesters. I guess they must be going down Market. Every so often, you'll hear like sirens of some sort. All right, as promised yesterday, we're gonna go through some comments. Hello again, M. Johnson. You got a long comment that you left. Let's do it. New York Times released an article that George Floyd was from Houston. Both men knew each other as they were security guards. Seems like cops wanted to kill George, so did not have a chance to spill the tea before other cops arrived on the scene. I might go ahead and look that article up for later. As for the real estate question, house always appreciates more than a condo or a townhome. I would avoid a condo. Since you'll be working from home, you might want to consider other parts of LA where you can buy a house in a nice neighborhood. If the roof has clay tile, it'll last forever. Plus, if you have a yard, you can add a hot tub or a swimming pool. I like the idea of a townhouse because I don't really care for a yard, so I don't want all the maintenance that comes with having like actual land. I don't really care that much about a hot tub or a swimming pool. For me, that's just like something I might not use very much, and it's just gonna cost money and be a hassle to maintain and repair up. I am gonna be working from home. However, I do wanna be not too far from LAX because I will be traveling at least once a month, and a lot of my friends are in Mid-City, Beverly really Grove, West Hollywood area, so I don't want to be like super far away from them. Guys, leave your comments. I usually leave comments on all the LGBT YouTube channel videos that I watch. I love all the gay YouTube video postings. Thanks. Thank you for watching. You left another comment, M. Johnson, from before for the video we had 2 days ago. Thanks for reviewing Chromatica. My favorite song from that release right now is Stupid Love. To me, most of the songs on this album remind me of songs back from the early and mid 90s that were played at some of the gay bars and at Pride. My music history doesn't go far back very much. It only really stretches till the mid 90s-ish, because that's right around the time where my family and I, we moved to Canada. But before that, I was still in Hong Kong, so we didn't really listen to any Western English pop music then. LA is so overpriced. We live in Florida and moved to a lower price area, then bought a new construction home. House hunting isn't fun, but can be rewarding if you find the right one. I think it's like a very subjective thing in terms of what one person thinks a city is overpriced and another person thinks that, oh, this is actually like a good value, right? I am choosing to live in California, which as a state is already not cheap to live in. I have lived in LA before, aware of how expensive things are there, but at least for the near future, that's the one place where I know that's where I want to live. Some cities are just more pricey than other cities. Houses with more bedrooms have a higher resale value than single bedroom houses, and HOA can sometimes require an additional assessment for building issues that they do not have the funds for. I just read about that actually. A complex in Fremont required homeowners to pay an additional $150,000 for seismic repairs. Some owners had to sell because they couldn't come up with the assessment in the short time frame. I've talked to a couple of realtors, and in a place like West Hollywood, the vast majority of the residences there are condos. The demand for apartment rentals in West Hollywood, it's like super strong all the time. Whereas if I got, let's say, a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom townhouse somewhere else, that really only appeals to people who can afford and need a 3-bedroom house. And me having kind of followed the rental market for pretty much most of the last 10 years, both here in San Francisco and in LA, there does generally seem to be more demand for 1 or maybe 2-bedroom apartments versus something that's like a townhouse. So at least in the WeHo area, it's not a disadvantage to have like a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom condo, because those things, they rent out all the time. If for whatever reason, in like 5 years or however long, I feel like I need to move somewhere else on short notice and I can't or don't want to sell this condo, then it's relatively easy to rent it out. But it looks like there's always going to be demand for that type of unit there. The HOA thing, I feel like there's no way to get around an HOA if you're gonna be in a condo. All condos have HOAs. I think the best I can do is when I'm looking at a particular building to do some research into the HOA to see how well it's managed. From Ron, sounds like you're too worried about bills for a house. A new roof should last 20 years. I paid $4,000 for a new one. You can have a small leak in a roof and just put a bucket under it for years until you get the money for a new roof. I didn't need plumbing or new windows, but I put them in myself. I'm on my own lawn, so I don't have to pay anyone to do it. You can have your own land, yard, garage, and fence to keep the neighbors out. To me, buying condos is like renting another apartment. My house is worth over 4 times what I paid for it. In 20 years, what are all those condo fees add up to? Will the resale value multiply like a house? That's a question for a realtor. I have talked to realtors and I have done the math. The HOA fees, they don't just go for nothing. The HOA does actually like maintain the building, the public areas, all of that stuff. Condo prices do appreciate. Obviously, it's not exactly like a house, but real estate as a whole, the prices for houses and condos are not completely disjointed. Someone left me a comment. It's in Spanish. So I'm gonna throw your comment into Google Translate. Your apartment is very beautiful. It's intense. The subject of people of color and the police, a situation that should not be happening. Sorry if Google Translate didn't perfectly capture the meaning of your comment in Spanish. It is a nice apartment, but it's a rental, and This place honestly costs way too much. What you don't see is how small the apartment is. Things kind of look nice from a distance, let's put it that way. And it's true, it's so crazy right now. If you think about it, we are in the middle of a health pandemic, and then now we have protests that are starting to turn a little bit violent. I feel like the vast majority of people that are protesting are doing it peacefully, but anytime you have a large protest, there are people that try to take advantage of that situation, and you get vandalism and looting and violence. That's not what we need. Go for a standalone townhouse or house. Repairs like roof leaks can be covered by home and content insurance. Insurance costs money. My fave in the new Lady Gaga album is Fun Tonight. That's the second comment that said Fun Tonight is your favorite song so far on the new Lady Gaga album. Fun fact, since I did the album review, I have not listened to any of her songs again. Buying a new place to live, when I did, I knew in 50 seconds it was a perfect place. I had no feelings of regret later about this. The ones that were always good enough places to live are always gonna be there. I've been in my place for 34 years. Wow, that is awesome. Okay, I am kind of wondering, am I just gonna feel that a place will be right when I see it and tour it? None of the places I've seen so far gives me that feeling. I like this Gaga album better than the last. Glad she moved in from the country vibe. Did she have a country vibe before? I haven't really been following her last album or her other recent releases that much. It's sad to see the riots in some US cities, starting with the Minneapolis murder, Black Lives Matter spreading to LA and other cities. It's just all rather unstable. Sad too of the Hong Kong interference from Beijing. So I was born in Hong Kong, so even though I've not been in Hong Kong physically back there for a very, very long time, transiting through the airport does not count. But I think it is a shame what's happening over there. I don't fully understand all like the context, the politics, and the background of it, but I'm pretty certain I'm on the Hong Konger side of that. We had huge forever and beef parties last night, not according to regulations at all, but you could see gays miss that. This must have been in Tel Aviv. What do you do for work? Do a video on that. What do you like or dislike? Why do you leave Google? I thought that was the best company to work for. Okay, this is a lot. I am a IT manager for a startup, a smaller company. And when I say IT, I mean corporate IT, which means these are the systems that employees use internally. It could be like the email system, the calendaring system, video conferencing, Slack, things like that. I don't think it's a super interesting topic to talk about, but I like my job. Why did you leave Google? I answered this a lot when I went on job interviews right after leaving Google. Every department in a large company has a very specialized, specific function. IT is not just the support people that helps you when you forgot your password, you need it to be reset. It's gonna be the people who are in procurement, in IT, who are in engineering, and IT, who are in inventory. Now, if you're in technical support within IT in a large company, you're only gonna do support. You don't really get exposure to do any of the other aspects of IT at all. Because for all these different cogs in this huge machine to all work together properly, people kind of have to specialize and stay in their own lane. A small company, especially a startup, the opposite is true, right? You might be the only IT person, you have to do everything IT related for this company. And even some things that are not IT at all, because there's only so many people, right? Everybody's gotta help each other out, even if it's things that are not in their job description. You can use that to your advantage, right? So the way I leveraged that was I wanted to move out of IT support. That was kind of sort of what I was doing for a good amount of time at Google. I was starting to venture out more into the engineering side of things. But what I really wanted to become was a IT manager and eventually run the IT department for a whole company. I can't do that at a large company with the amount of experience I had at that time. So I was a small fish in a big pond. I flipped that around and I became a big fish in a small pond, and I became basically the head of IT for a company in LA. It was just me and one other IT person that reported up to me, but I technically achieved that goal of starting to move into management on the IT side. So that's why I left Google. It wasn't because I didn't like Google. I actually loved working for Google. It was a really great place to work, but for what I wanted to do with my career in the near term, the next step I wanted to take in my career, which is become an IT manager. I couldn't do that at Google, so I had to find opportunities to take that next step in my career. I always keep 5 or 6 gallons of water in the fridge for when the water turns off. Anyone who has lived in an urban setting will agree that it is always noisy, and one reason is the noise is amplified in the concrete canyons of buildings and streets. What is one of your favorite places to visit and why? One of my favorite places to visit, I've only visited there once, but kind of bouncing off of your comment, I drove into Joshua Tree National Park. I didn't camp there, but I just went in there for like a couple hours. It was a really interesting place to be. When you get to one of the little paths that go through this huge park, and you're not near anyone else, but it is so weird to be outside in broad daylight in an area that is so quiet. That's probably like one of the most memorable favorite places I've visited. One of you guys gave me a recipe for baked Dijon chicken, but it takes evaporated milk, mustard, crumbs, and cheese. And these are things I don't own. But maybe once I move to LA and it's easier to like get groceries, I will cook that up. Who is your fave Twice member? My guess is Momo. I don't know if I have a bias. I like the different members for different reasons. All right, thank you so much for leaving super awesome comments. Sorry I couldn't read out every single word of every sentence or every comment. Otherwise this video would be super duper long, but I'll try my best to read a summary of it and then give you guys a good response back. These are like some really insightful comments and some good advice in here. So thank you so much guys. Please keep it up and then I'll keep commenting on your comments. All right, it's gonna be a multi-part dinner tonight. I'm starting with some salad and then I need to eat some yogurt to get some protein. And then I will maybe have some chips and salsa. I've been wanting some chips and salsa. I've been watching these dog rescue videos. There's like a few YouTube channels that do them. And some of them, they're so super sad. But anyways, I finished editing. More sirens again. I just finished editing the comment Q&A session and the video is already like over 60 minutes long. So I'll save you the rest of what I was gonna talk about for tomorrow. So hope you all had a good week. Tomorrow's Monday, Mondays, but let's see if we can have a good start to another week in lockdown, literally lockdown, because we are getting freaking a curfew here in San Francisco. Let's see what the week brings. Until tomorrow. Bye YouTube.